And we're live. Well, last time's episode, now a few weeks back, found the party with some downtime after dispatching the White Dragon. Parted ways with their half-orc friend and traveled back to Phandalin for some downtime. After spending a bit of time in town, the party decided to take the next step to head to Dralimar to find a buyer for some of the unused dragon parts to craft a suit of armor for a party member and to perhaps seek some more information to follow up on a couple of different story threads. So as we start this week's session, we'll kick it off a little bit casually, just with a discussion amongst the party on what you want to do before you head to the city and what your intentions are. So, I leave it to you. Is there anything you want to do before you leave Phandalin?
Where are we
Lunalia
all
wants
right
to
now?
visit. We're all in Phandalin, right?
Like, are we just all at the inn, or?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't remember.
You guys were in town for a little bit, right? So I imagine that you might have a day before you head out, where you might, visit people and do a bit of shopping. Have a day's rest after a few days of adventure and combat. So feel free to narrate what your character might be doing in let's say a day of downtime before you head out.
Yeah, so Lunalia would go and visit Darren.
Oh yeah, let them know that you came back alive so you can get your lyre.
Right. Well, you find Darren out behind his farmhouse, looking like he's just come in from working the field. Heavy sweat on his brow, and a dirt-stained tunic and well-stained hands from years of farm work in his retirement. He looks up, sees you approach, and smiles. Good to see you made it back all right. I trust that means the dragon's not a problem anymore?
No, it is not. It's been dispatched.
Well, color me impressed. You and your friends have some skill. Right,
Most of them, yes.
I owe you your instrument.
Yes,
I'll fetch it
thank
for
you.
you.
I also have a favor to ask.
Oh?
We are about to head off to Dralimar. And I've heard some unsavory things about the city. Large cities and me don't do well together at the best of times. But Dralimar in particular, my people have been seen there, but I've also been told that they've been abducted there. And I was hoping I could borrow your hat.
Oh. He looks down at the lyre that he's just retrieved. Well, I suppose it's only fair. I held this for a time. You could hold that for a time, but I do want it back. It besides being useful, it holds some sentimental value.
Of course.
Well, any idea how long you'll be in the city?
I don't know. We're not exactly sure what information will come by there. She's sort of turning the hat over in her hand.
Yeah, it's a large, very overly flamboyant, wide brimmed, feathered. It has a large plume of a feather coming out of it. It is very definitely not anything you would ever wear unless you had to. But on donning it, you can, along with changing your appearance, remove the appearance of the hat entirely if you so wish. He hands it to you.
Just like my transmogs.
Well, I can't say I'm much of a fan of Dralimar or really any city. In my younger years, I was often found in some of the less upstanding parts of town, but not really my flavor anymore. Good luck, and that hat's smart. Hide your true appearance.
I really hope to not have to use it. But it's better to be safe than sorry.
I think you should use it at all times. But that's just my opinion. Play it by ear.
I always do.
Well, good luck then, and hope to see you soon.
She'll just nod her thanks, blow him a kiss, and head off to meet the others.
He chuckles as you do. Anything else before we move on to someone else?
Nope, not for me.
Louis?
How you said we have one? Can you get through the train right now? Do you have? We have one. I'm just trying to think. Louis has a bunch of stuff that he wants to work on making. I would start with those, with the teeth, to make the Featherfall tokens.
Yeah, given the nature of the tokens and the fact that they're a one-time use, the cost is minimal. The fact that you're using dragon's teeth, they're magical enough in nature to serve as the reagent themselves for the enchantment. The cost is a first level spell slot for each over the course of an hour. It would take you a couple of days and burning a good chunk of your spell slots. Call it 2 days and the balance of your spell slots over that time. So if you had a day of downtime right now in a safe place, you could make half of. I think you were looking at making 12 or 15 of them.
Ultimately 15. I mean, enough for each of us to, there's 5 of us, so it'd be, make five at a time, basically. Which would be, all my first level spell slots, and then I'd use a second or third to.
Yeah, so to make 5, you could make them today in town, just in a quiet spot in a few hours.
Yeah, I do chez lui, use my little workbench in there, and bang that out.
All right.
I don't know if I need to. Oops.
No, I'm not going to bother having you make any checks for them. They're such minor items that it's easy enough for you to produce them. And perhaps a good early attempt at enchanting. Something that Louis, I suppose maybe tinkered with, but this is a gateway to bigger and more powerful things, and an opportunity for him to really hone his craft. You take the time and produce 5 Featherfall tokens. Have you checked to see if that's something that's that everybody can easily add in D&D Beyond, or do you want me to check?
Oh, there's something similar, but not exactly that. Give me a minute and I can find it.
Yeah, I thought we'd found something before that was basically this exactly, but I'm having trouble finding it. Well, I mean, it's also
In the
something
meantime,
that
though, could we have a did you know from Rogar?
Sure.
I mean, I have 3 technically.
Just give
Easy.
us the top one.
Easiest one is, did you know that on July 5th, most pet shelters are slammed because dogs run away from the fireworks?
I wouldn't have even thought of that.
Keeping the mood light.
It's in the chat, but it's a feather token. It says it's a small metal disc, but it's not.
Yeah, it's just taking me to a purchase page for Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron.
Me too.
That's fine. I'll plagiarize it and just recreate it as a custom magic item after the session.
You should be able to. Yeah, everyone should be able to find it though, because we have access to Wayfinder. Oh, do we? Oh, we don't have access to Wayfinder.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
That must be from my other campaign. Sorry.
Is that the?
Keep bringing up these other people.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have that book sitting on my shelf. I'm not going to spend $20 for a single item out of it, but it's really easy for me to just go in and create a magic item and attach the Featherfall spell to it. So,
I mean, there's something called a feather token that you can add. Just put in feather, and then we can just call it that. It doesn't actually say Featherfall, but we should know what it is.
Mm.
yeah, you could use that as a placeholder, sure.
Yeah, I mean that's that's what I was linking. Feather token.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of other ones that we do have access to add.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And sorry, you're giving how many to us?
Each one of you can have one of these, and you do not need to do anything. Just put it in your pockets, in your backpack, whatever. It does not need attunement. But as long as you have this with you, if you fall more than 20 feet, you automatically get a little bit of feather fall, and you will fall safely.
Oh, that'll be of great help. I do find myself falling more often than not.
Yes, you are very clumsy.
It's these huge giraffe legs.
Nora wants to ask Scribble, what did he say? And what is this rock?
It's one of the teeth of the dragon. With just a little bit of I took some of the natural flight of the dragon and imbued it into this, and so it will save you if you fall.
All this time, I'm still trying to get used to you. Noro is saying, he's okay, dirt bender stuff. All right, got it. He kind of just walks away as if like he understands now.
And Louis, I think, but I'm not certain that we talked about you enchanting the bag of holding to keep cold temperature. I know we talked about it basically keeping whatever temperature you acclimatize the innards to, unless you opened it again. But I think you mentioned also turning it into a bag of holding or creating a bag of holding. Don't recall if that's something we actually did or we were just talking about it.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
was
we did it, and then we put the stuff in it.
Yeah, we did that while at the keep still.
Right. So help me out. Are there 2 bags of holding, or did you modify your bag to do that?
There are 2. There is one that is a bag of holding, and there is one that is my bag of holding.
Got it. All right. Well, if that's it for you, we can go on to Noro. Do you have anything you want to do here in town before heading back to the big city? A place you've actually been once previously, maybe for a few days before you set out on your first journey.
Yeah, actually, before I go, I wanted to go see if I believe I went to Lenine to drop off the weapon and see what more she could find, if anything was found. So he wants to know if there's anything before he leaves.
All right. You head to the shop, and you actually don't find Lenine. Paramon is standing behind the counter, sort of awkwardly looking around, his arms folded across his chest. And when you walk in, there's a look of he looks sort of flustered, like he's not quite sure what to do. And then he recognizes you and relaxes. Oh, Noro. Hello. What
Paramon?
What can I... She asked me to watch the shop for a bit.
Oh.
Not exactly comfortable with it. Some folk were in here earlier asking questions I just had no answers to. What can I do for you? I hope you're not here to shop.
No. I left something with Lenine, and she was supposed to more research on it. And I'm curious as to if there was any progress. I'm not sure if she mentioned anything to you about anything like that.
Yes, the blade, yes?
Oh, great. Do you know anything that...
It is, curious. Come. Lock the door behind you, would you?
Locking door.
He takes you in back to the small office that he's sort of turned into a makeshift study. The sword is actually laid across the table, and there are several small gems, traces of glittering dust sprinkled in complex patterns beneath the weapon, and some fresh writing, arcane runes traced on the blade itself, in what looks like blood. You're not quite sure. It might be blood. He walks over to the table and stands over the blade. Yes, it's quite a curious tool. Very powerful. And well, were it to fall into the wrong hands, of course, they would have to know how to use it first, but it's a matter of attuning to it. One could wreak quite a bit of destruction with this, had they access to the dead.
Dead?
Yes.
Is that its origin of its magic?
Yes, necromantic in nature. The weapon itself is a conduit for one's will. Simply put, it allows the wielder to a degree, command the forces of the dead.
And I think Noro here is going to kind of like space out and kind of under his breath, he'll say something like, but he was a dirt bender. What happened? He's kind of speaking to himself, wondering. And then just kind of turns around and tells him, okay.
Tell me, Noro, why are you so curious about this weapon? I understand where it came from, but what's your attachment to it?
I believe there's initials on there and might be a family member, but I'm not sure. Haven't confirmed it.
The crafter's mark. It's curious. I am not versed in smithing marks, but so you say this is a clan mark?
Yes.
You're looking for who crafted it, perhaps?
That's correct. And maybe if I found out the origin of its magic the way it was, it would give me an idea of where to go.
Well, I can confirm that whoever crafted this weapon either is or had access to a rather powerful necromancer. I would take caution looking for whoever this person is. You can kind of tell that he's somewhat trying to respect your privacy. You haven't outright said who it is, and he's somewhat dancing around it without asking any more questions.
Right. And Noro too is trying to like hide his worry and not show too much emotion or how much it means to him to try to find him, whoever this person is or belongs to, or is afraid the mark is what he thinks.
Make a deception check.
Deception. Oh, here it is. Oh.
Well, I don't have Paramon's character sheet up, but I got a natural 18, so yeah, I'm gonna say he has some inkling that you have. There's a look of concern that flashes across Noro's face, and he picks up on it. He extends a hand, puts a bony fingered hand on your, reaches up and puts a bony fingered hand on sort of your upper, bicep, unable to reach your shoulder. Look, friend, I can see you're concerned. If there's anything I can do to help, I am in your debt, you and your friends. If I can lend aid in any way, please let me know.
Noro just kind of looks at him. He doesn't want to say anything. He just kind of nods like approvingly of like, okay, and then like, thank you.
Do you wish us to keep this weapon safe for you, or will you be taking it?
Was there anything else that Lenine wanted to do with it, or would you say the research is, I guess, complete?
I believe we understand how it works. There's not much more to tell. It should be. It's not something I'd advise you walk around with.
Okay. Then I'll leave it here. Thank you.
As well, If you'd like to do anything with it, other than command the armies of the dead, of course, it is here for you. If you're looking for some way to dispose of it, I'm sure I could help.
I'd like to talk about those options when I come back.
Good.
But meanwhile, we'll keep it safe.
And we shall.
And secret.
And then he starts reading, like reaching for coin to make payment.
What are you doing? No. Just go.
Okay. He kind of grabs everything and just says thanks again and makes his way to the party.
Alrighty. Rogar.
Rogar will go get supplies, I guess, to restock our provision points.
Alrighty. Just gonna have a quick look and see what your points are at. I've got the party sitting at 8, and I feel like that's maybe a day or two high of where you should be, but whatever. I think the whole deal with provision points is not as big of a problem anymore now that you can teleport and actually have been using that from time to time. But yeah, a total of 10 gold if you wanted to top up to the max 10 that the party can carry.
Yep.
Alright. Bumping that up on the main map to 10. So you get 10 days worth of supplies.
And I'm buying this at Barthen's, right?
Yeah, Barthen's is the most likely place to get general traveling provisions and supplies.
Do I know anything about Dralimar? Like, do I know if it's like a religious place, if it's a port city with like specific gods that they worship?
Yeah, you could make a I don't know. Let's make a check. Give me a second here and I'll bring up a character sheet. Make a history check.
Oh. Oh. Wonderful.
What you know of Dralimar is limited. It's a place that you've never been, even though it's not really all that far away. You really only know that it's a port city and you know that Deebs grew up in a Temple of Saloon there. So there must be at least, you know, your guess is if there's one temple, there's probably more.
Okay.
As far as what gods would be revered there and what temples you might find, hard to say.
Okay, never mind then. I'll wait till we get to Dralimar. I don't really have anything else to do, not that I can think of.
Alright, Scribble?
Scribble would go see Halia.
Remind me, have you spoken to her since your encounter with Ham and Sam?
No.
Right. Alright. You go to find her, and she is not at the Miners' Exchange, and so you head to Townmaster's Hall, heavily under construction now. As you reach the hall, you look up, and there is something new, a new feature, hanging from the watchtower atop the building by chains, the skull of the White Dragon. Cleaned, polished, on display. As you
I've
head
seen that
inside.
before.
Yeah, as you head inside, you find her in her usual spot in the office. She looks up from a mountain of paperwork. and smiles softly at you. Doesn't say anything.
It's a nice trophy outside.
I hear we have you and your friends to thank for that.
Yes, that would be us.
Well, there's some coin in it for you when it arrives, and if you're not here, I'll make sure it's kept safe. I received an interesting message from a red-skinned friend. I'm not sure what you did, but it seemed to be enough. His words were cryptic, but he indicated that I've fulfilled my debt, in part anyway.
Well, that's a relief.
Do I want to know what you did? Or is it better that I don't?
It's not what he asked for. I believe Ham and Sam probably returned to Dralimar. Not too happy with the red-skinned friend.
So he lives. I don't understand.
Well, he was attacked on the way returning to Dralimar from, a wild man and an obnoxious man with a crossbow, I believe.
You're not speaking of who I think you're speaking of, are you? Former resident of Phandalin, troublemaker around these parts, someone who you've dealt with previously?
The description matched.
I expect the bounty on his head will go up then. Unless he was... No, I can't imagine.
Madrick escaped into the woods. Roger did not meet such an end.
I just don't understand how Ham and Sam lives, and yet my debt is fulfilled. I don't know how you managed to pull that off. Was it... perhaps the attempt was enough?
It was probably a test.
A test of what, though?
You know Silas more than I, but he doesn't seem like a man you want to deal with.
No. No, he's not. He's someone I'm stuck with. Indefinitely, it seems. Even after this, he still indicated I have much left to do to repay my debt in full. The look on her face turns dour. But I suppose we all have debts that hang over our heads. I cannot thank you enough for what you've done. I asked the impossible, and somehow you managed to make it happen. Even though it's... Well, perhaps we should count ourselves lucky and move on. Tell me, what can I do for you? You're here for something.
My friends and I are going to visit Phandalin or not Phandalin, Dralimar to look into a buyer for some of the parts of the dragon that we scraped off.
I wish you a safe journey. It's not far and the road is well traveled, but it's been some years since I've lived there, and I did not have many friends. Well, what do you suppose I can do for you?
We're looking for a gentleman who may be interested in purchasing the parts by the name of, which I forget, start with an A.
Lysarin.
Lysarin.
An elf named Lysarin.
Oh, I think he was thinking of Aloro.
Could have been.
Well, Lysarin I know. He has a small shop, no signage. In Aspirant's Rise, back alley shop of sorts. And she proceeds to give you directions to it. Why don't you make a survival check with advantage? Her directions are sound, and you feel like you have a pretty good idea where his shop is at. It certainly sounds like just another door on an unmarked door on a random street. But being from Dralimar, you know of a few shops like that really they don't have to advertise. Anybody who the shopkeeper would normally cater to already knows where the shop is. They tend to cater to the richer folk who don't like to go down to Market Square. Cater to people looking to purchase less legal things or a little bit more dangerous things, or looking to spend the type of coin that you wouldn't be just flashing around on the street.
Do you know, can we trust him to give us a fair price?
Her eyes narrow. My dear, you shouldn't trust anyone, ever. Come now. But I suppose I have no pull with him. But if you know someone who does, dropping their name is probably enough to keep him from gouging you.
Do you know of any names that I could drop?
Well, Lysarin is a merchant who deals with those who travel in arcane circles. Any of the archwizards who frequent Dralimar. If you were to find one of them and get in their good graces, perhaps they would put in a good word with him for you. Don't know any of them specifically.
No, what I was kind of like trying to get there, Poker, was if I could, like, since she's been cryptic about her past, really, if she would drop anything.
She's playing her cards pretty close to the chest on this one.
Okay.
You could make an insight check. In fact, I encourage you to make an insight check.
Who's Scribble talking to again?
Couldn't hear you, sorry.
Who's Scribble talking to again?
To Halia.
Oh,
Yeah, with that insight check, you're fairly certain she's hiding something, and by the pained expression that flashes across her face, more than once in this conversation, it is something she either regrets or doesn't really want to bring up. Something painful from her past.
Okay, I'll leave it at that then. All right. Do you have anything that you might need from Dralimar, a contact or someone contacted?
She smiles weakly, and the smile warms over the next couple of seconds, and she just shakes her head. No, I am content with what I have here. I left that place behind, and I think Silas' most recent visit reminded me of how happy I am to have left the city behind me. Things are more simple here. I matter more. And I like that. Scribble, you're not far removed from the city. You were there fairly recently. I hope you still know your way around. It can be dangerous in places. And much as I want to assume by your appearance that you can handle yourself, well, people are very different from dragons. And I think you know that.
They have less health.
Yes, but there's many more of them.
We get area effect. Yes, I don't plan to stay there long, and hopefully I can stay under the radar as I did whenever I lived there. Aside from selling dragon parts.
Well, I hope to see you soon, my friend, and if there is anything I can do for you, my debt to you is one I do not regret. And for probably the first time ever, there is a warmth in her smile that is genuine.
It's a happy bird.
Is there anything else you wanted to do? She nods,
Nope.
and you see yourself out. All right, well, with everybody having settled their affairs, you prepare to head towards Dralimar. And so I guess the question is, how are you getting there? Yes. Yes, he can.
Man, I wished we could get Deeps in a channel to have a talk with him.
Yeah, well,
Is he still building that church?
he is.
Probably.
I actually wanted to
prob-
talk to him.
I mean, we can retcon it and say that Rogar would probably go check up on him then.
Yeah, I was going to
Unless
ask.
we want.
Was Rogar there when Deeves had these visions?
I don't think so. But,
I was curious about maybe.
Deeps had the vision right around the time, just before Solmia left, I think.
I think so?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
right after?
I want to say Deeps had the vision, like that night. Either the night before that or that night. You know, when you were staying up at Wyvern's Tor. Wyvern's Tor. It's Wyvern.
I don't remember where that is.
It's to the east. It's that lone hill with the cave on the southern side, between Coneyberry and Icespire Peak, where you camped the first night you went east.
Right.
And the Black Spider showed up and whisked Somia away.
Yep. Well, I wanted to, I guess what Rogar said, if we can retcon, having a discussion about that and seeing if there was any, like another one that maybe happened, or that was it.
Well, I'm pretty sure Rogar has gone up there a couple of times. And I think the last time he went up there, he asked if Deebs has gotten more visions.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to go up as a group or if it's...
I think we all probably would. We'd all like to check in on him, I'm assuming.
Sure. So the party gathers and makes their way up the hill, up to the old manor house, or what is left of it. And you find, as you reach the top of the hill, there is very little left of the old ruins of the house, being replaced by what is now shaping up to be quite the small chapel. Much of the stone has been repurposed, and there is actually a small crew working now. Just two locals. One of them with mallet and chisel, shaping some stone, and another one with a cart, removing some clearing some rubble out of the way. One wall of the chapel stands just about shoulder height, and you can see the outline of the foundation. It's not going to be large, but maybe 15 feet across and 25 feet deep or so. But you can kind of visualize this building coming together. It will sit on the hill overlooking the town. It will be visible from across the town. And you, from behind a large pile of stone, you hear a as a familiar dwarf, shirtless, just covered in dust and dirt, it heavily in his beard and smeared across his arms, stands up from a break and stretches. You hear pops and cracks, and he looks around, and his eyes light up as he sees all the rest of you. My friends! He runs over, slow at first, speeding up as he gets to you, and he skids to a halt in front of you, claps his hands together. Well, how are you?
Deebs.
Noro!
It's too good to see you, friend.
He turns around and looks over his shoulder at what he's building and kind of, waves his arms around as if to, have you take in the place. What do you think?
There's not much been done.
I'm doing what I can.
Where's the bar?
Maybe someday. So, the spider's gone. His eyes narrow as he looks at all of you, back and forth. I'm sorry I couldn't come with you. She wouldn't let me. I hope you understand.
Make a little whip noise.
Scribble!
Of course, we understand.
There's that familiar voice. Well, Noro's just he wants to ask, okay, like, has there, since you've been doing all this, has there been any visions lately? From the original ones you told us a long time back.
Just one. Only a few nights ago, and I saw it again, Dralimar burning. He wasn't there this time. I don't think it was him. The spider! I don't think it was him at all. I think the green fire was something else.
But still the same location? Same place? Same surroundings?
Wow. It's a mystery.
What? I'm sure we were told something about green fire from somebody, but I don't remember who.
That was in Deeb's original vision.
Mm-hmm.
Green liquid
somebody.
fire rolling through the streets, burning anything it touched. Corpses charred and burnt, rising undead and shambling off.
Right, and I remember we were gonna if we were gonna act on it or not. Like, should we go?
Deeb says, "The first dream I had, the first vision, the spider was there. The sword, a dark weapon. He held it high, and the dead followed his command. This time, he wasn't there. The dead just went everywhere, swept across the land. In all directions. I think something was going to happen with or without him."
In this description, Poker, he's referring, I guess, to the blade that I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Lenine has. Okay. Yeah. So Noro's gonna he kind of shies away, kind of I guess in a way out of shame, because kind of knowing who it is, but he's trying to hide it. Hopefully nobody was looking.
I believe that lines up well with what the Black Spider mentioned about his vision.
Oh?
He mentioned the same vision, but more so just the green fire, and acted upon taking advantage of the corpses to create himself an army to take down below.
Without him, things might even be worse. Well, I wish I could help, but he looks around and kind of wrings his hands. I have too much to do here, and I can't stop till I'm done.
Or anyone that you want us to speak to while we're in Dralimar? Anything we could bring back for you?
Help? I think she gave up on me doing this myself.
Well, if you half-ass the problem long enough, somebody will take pity on you and help.
Ah, yeah. Well, no, I'll be fine. I already had words with friends back home.
Right?
I don't remember this vision that Deebs has, was there any points of interest or anything that he saw, or was it just the streets being filled with liquid green flames?
I'm not sure if I narrated fully the vision for you guys, but the gist of it was that the entire city was on fire, that the green flames were spreading through the streets, and even off in the far distance, you could see a green glow lighting the building walls, many blocks away, as if the streets were burning. It was the entire city, and standing on one of the towers, basically standing on the wall, atop the tower above one of the gates of the city, the main gates of the city, was the Black Spider, the sword outstretched, and the dead flocking to him and exiting the city. There wasn't really any specific place in the city of significance in the vision, other than it affected the entire city and all of its populace.
Okay.
And really the main point of his original vision was the Black Spider was commanding the dead that rose and leading them out of the city. And the difference now is that with him no longer in the picture, the dead are just aimlessly spreading across the countryside. Not necessarily better or worse, but the event still happened. The dead still rose.
Which begs the
Okay.
question, how did the spider know? Was he given a vision as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, he said he had the same vision, and that's when he decided, like, his vision, he wasn't in his vision, but he was granted a vision of the city burning and the dead rising, and he went and grabbed his necromancer friend and said, "Hey, let's go steal an army. I know where there's gonna be one." Deeb's eyes light up. Not literally, but his eyes go wide. Oh! Oh! Something new. Or I didn't notice it the first time. It was snowing.
What?
You're certain it was snow, not ash or anything?
Ah,
It was cold?
it was cold. It was winter. Maybe this winter.
Oh, snap.
And it's, what, approaching fall now?
It's like a high middle of summer.
What, no midsummer festival?
There's one coming up.
Oh.
Maybe
Oh,
by the,
so we're not even at midsummer, okay.
yeah, maybe by the time you get back. I have to go pull up my calendar. I made a calendar a while ago.
Alright, well, maybe someone in Dralimar knows more about this green fire. Or something that can mass resurrect or mass raise the dead.
Are you just gonna go asking around? Never thought to do that.
How
Well,
else
we
are we
do have...
supposed to get answers? Of course you just ask.
That sounds exactly like one of your plans, Deebs.
Hmm.
Well, we do have a gnome that loves reading, and I'm sure there's maybe a library there or something.
He turns and looks at Louis, and just nods. And I think I'm trying to remember if he's met Rogar.
If Deebs has met me, yes.
Yeah. Like after he officially left, or did Rogar join the party before Deebs left? I don't recall.
I joined the party before he left.
Yeah, that's right.
So we
that's
went
right.
to Coneyberry.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, of course he did. He looks at Louis and kind of looks him up and down, more down than up because he's short. New friend.
Bonjour.
He just he just takes a couple steps forward and holds his hand out. Deeb's Darkbeard.
I am Louis. It is nice to meet you, Deeb's Darkbeard.
He kind of turns and looks at Linalia and then looks back at Louis. You're not from around here, are you?
You are obviously the sharpest tool in the set. What gave it away? Is it my garish clothing?
He kind of turns and looks back at the rest of the group.
He said, is it because his clothes are very fancy?
Oh, yes. That's it.
You are very astute for a man of the cloth.
He turns and looks at Lunalia again.
You're a smart guy. You're a smart guy.
Right.
For a dwarf or a priest.
Well, I have to get back to work. It's good to see you all. I'm glad you're safe. And dragon, I heard you killed a dragon.
We did. Can we see the Miners' Exchange from here? Like the skull that's there? Or is it too far?
It's actually hanging from Town Master's Hall. Did I not put you guys on the oh sorry, I'm not on the town map. It's right about here.
Okay.
No, it's actually on the far side facing sort of the town commons.
Yes, we even brought back a trophy. It's in town. I don't think you can see it from here, but the next time you're in town, you might have a look.
Maybe you should let me step away for a drink.
You expect us to believe you've been up here this whole time building and not having a drink?
I haven't.
Noro, can you check his breath?
On it.
Holy shit. He is dry. You lean in and you see Noro's nostrils flare wide as as there's a sharp intake of air. Noro, there is nothing. Deebs has not had a drink in some time. All you smell is sweat and dirt and dust and stone.
So
It smells like home.
Smells like home. He pops his head up like a meerkat. He's like, nothing.
Huh?
It's actually clean. Clean like Mother Earth.
So miracles can happen.
He'll have to get in there. Well, I don't have any other questions. Oh, actually, I did want to ask Deebs. Has anybody like bothered him since he's been doing this? Because it's outside of Phandalin a little bit, right? Like it's a new construction or something.
Well, I mean, it's just the hill overlooking the town, right? It's not, if you look at the map of the town, it's no further from, the Sleeping Giant to the manor as it is from the Sleeping Giant to, like, the center of town.
Oh, okay, all right. So
he says, no, it's been quiet, but I wouldn't expect any trouble. We ran them out of town.
Right. Yeah. I guess we'll let him know, like, we're going to Dralimar to go. And we're going to wonder how... I guess now we figure out how we're going to get there.
He just kind of looks at you. Naro, there's a road. The road we took here. Just take it back.
We'll just ride
Probably
Oxy.
Say what?
We don't have Oxy anymore. Don't you remember? He died? She died?
I remember. Like it was yesterday. Oh, Oxy.
Oxy.
Well, it's good to see you, friends. I hope when you come back, I can share a drink with you at our old table. And if you have some time, maybe come help me build this thing. And he kind of whispers, I don't really know what I'm doing.
Well, that is on your goddess. If she winds up with a lopsided temple, she chose you.
He just kind of
Built by a
smiles
lopsided
awkwardly and
dwarf.
nods. What's that, Lucid?
Built by a lopsided dwarf.
There is something that all of you notice about Deebs. Being here talking to him, it's maybe for some of you the first time you've talked to him in a while. For Louis, the first time ever. There's something different about his demeanor. He's still the same old Deebs, but he's almost seems a little older, a little calmer, a little more centered, focused.
It's because he's not drunk.
Yeah, he's sober.
Yeah, the fire of youth has left him a bit, or has been tempered a bit, and there is a look in his eyes like he sees beyond today, and perhaps he's wizened up a bit.
He's got low T.
Is there anything else you want
Alright.
to ask him or talk to him about before you guys head out?
I do need to make one stop somewhere in town, possibly at Lenine's.
All right. Well, you
So
part.
yeah, she'll pop in
you part-
his Paramount there.
You part ways with Deebs and head down the hill across town. Yeah, you find Paramon behind the counter. Actually, you walk up to the front door of the Lion Shield Coster, and you see through the window. It's a little dim inside. You see what looks like Paramon behind the counter, and you go to open the door, and then you find it locked. Noro, having left out the back door, right off of the office you were in, Paramount totally forgot to unlock the front door to the place again.
Just rap on the window and wave up.
You rap on the window and wave, and he motions you in, reaches up with a long bony fingered hand and waves you in, and then realizes the door is locked, shuffles over, fumbles with the lock, unlocks the door. Terribly sorry. Not used to tending shop.
Lenine is not here?
No, stepped out for a bit. Didn't say where she was going.
You don't know how long she'll be?
He kind of he looks around and smacks his lips. She didn't say.
You didn't think to ask her?
No.
Oh.
And now I have a problem.
Problem.
He waves his hand around the shop. I don't know how to do this.
People come in, you give them the things they ask for, and they give you money. Even I know that.
Well, good. Then I'll be going and you can run the shop for the day.
No. Well, let's practice. I need something and I have money.
What can I help you with, my dear?
I'm looking for a diamond.
A diamond?
Yes.
I see. Well, how large and for, arcane purposes?
Yes.
Value?
Let me just double check. It doesn't have to be one big diamond. It just has to be worth 300. So a handful of tiny diamonds, one big one.
Let me see what I can find. He disappears in back. His investigation check was abysmal. Let me just actually pull up his character sheet just so I get this right, because I'm pretty sure he's got a no. Here we go. My characters.
Can I have a look?
If you go in back with him, he welcomes you to join him, especially after the first couple of minutes of fumbling through things. He drops a small box and some things go scattering across the floor, and I'll clean that up later. Let's see, investigation +5. Yeah, he got a 9.
You want me to roll one?
Well, if you help him, it gives him advantage, and so now he gets a 23. Working together, you find a rather large chest, sort of buried under some things, and within it are several sacks of sorted gems. And he quickly finds one with diamonds in it. Yes, this should do. They're already individually bagged and labeled. She is,
Convenient.
Yes, well, she is quite organized. There's a method to it I haven't figured out yet. How are you just looking for 300 gold worth of diamonds?
Mm-hmm.
Done. Go ahead and mark off 300 gold and sell 300 gold worth of diamonds. However you find easiest to track it on your character sheet. I'm assuming that's for Revivify. Or I don't know, something.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Herman.
Yes. You all off to the city then?
Yes.
Right. Well, remember, my friend's name is Lacerin, and I think your Kenku friend will be instrumental in tracking him down.
I believe so. I think he's quite familiar with the city. Also, Louis takes fabulous notes.
Yes, well, he's quite the astute scholar.
But of course,
You're not there. You didn't hear.
never mind.
His ego senses are tingling. He knows
Yes.
he's being complimented.
Yep, there you go.
Someone is speaking favorably.
Don't forget to inquire about our mutual friend, Master Oloro. If anyone's aware of his comings and goings, Lacerin would know. He is, he caters to the needs of those talented in the arcane. Specifically, the richer ones, of which Mr. Oloro is definitely of that group. Well, I wish you luck, and I would imagine Lunalia has the hat. I'm guessing she's not wearing it, but probably has it tucked under her arm or something.
Yeah, she's got it slung over her back or something.
New hat.
Yes. I was told it would be a good idea to perhaps look not like myself where we're going.
He nods, kind of doesn't get it, and then a look of understanding passes his face. Yes. Well, I am somewhat of an expert at that. It is helpful to look
This
like
hat
someone
is
else.
Ludicrous.
Yes,
I don't
well,
do hats in the place.
if it does what I think it does, you can make it disappear.
I know where it is then.
You'll be wearing it. No, off you go.
What if it accidentally gets knocked off my head? How will I know?
Well,
It's very confusing, Paramount.
Then tie it on. Don't ask me for string. I have no idea.
Come on, we'll be on our way.
Well, good. Come back soon, friends. And good luck. He waves at all of you as you exit. And so, where would you like to go next? How would you like to do this?
One foot in front of the other, I suppose.
And I guess that's the big question: is are you guys going to travel the slow way, or are you going to teleport there? Given that one member of the party is from there and would likely have a possession that originated from that city and could take you there very quickly. It is entirely up to you. We will not RP 4 or 5 days of road travel because it is safe road travel. It would just be the cost of some provisions.
I don't know, I just feel like teleporting everywhere is a little
Sure.
cheaty, but if that's what everyone else wants to do, I'm fine with it.
No, I think we can go slow.
Are we stopping by the dragon tomb?
Yeah, we can do that.
I mean, that's up to you. I don't care one way or the other. Lunalia's attitude is, what do the dead people need with a sword?
We still have what might be a dragon left to fight.
Yeah. I think until Rogard gets definitive information of what exactly the green quote-unquote dragon is, he still thinks it's potentially a dragon. Maybe it's just like a fey dragon. He doesn't know.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
we should not go back there until we are prepared to eliminate those flaming skulls as well.
That as well.
I think, if I remember correctly, you guys had figured out how to do away with them. In fact,
Yeah, we got the little baggies or the vials.
you were given, yeah, that's right. Zarikan gave you vials of holy water that you could use to destroy the remains once the skulls were once the skulls were reduced to 0 HP, you could basically sprinkle holy water on them to render them inert permanently.
Right.
yeah, it's just figuring out how to defeat them without them incinerating the bodies or blowing us to Kingdom Come.
Right.
We do not want them to drop 4 fireballs on us all at once.
Well, I mean, I can make it easy. You can either deal with it now, or you can deal with it later. I just need you to tell me which one it's going to be.
I think later. I vote later.
Okay. So, are you even going to stop by?
Doesn't seem to be a need.
Yeah, probably not yet.
Okay. Well then, you make your way out of town, and head towards the Low Valley Road. The first day of travel is without incident. Whereabouts would you like to... So, sorry, I'll if I haven't already, I will put us back on the region map. Actually, you guys are already there. I will head there. You could make it to, somewhere between here and here. Right around the bridge crossing in the first day of travel. I'm assuming Chez Louis is your preferred campsite.
There is a better solution.
So the first night, as Louis puts up the colored cabin of arcane essence, and you all unroll your bedrolls within, and settle down for the night. As you're doing this, the sun sets, the sky darkens, and one by one you become aware of creatures prowling in the night outside. Another pack of those fey dogs. Off in the distance, they come closer and closer, and they circle around the cabin a few times and then disappear off into the darkness.
And we're all aware of this?
Yeah, you all become aware of it. They circle the cabin, they close in, circle the cabin, growling softly. And you can look out the windows and you see them. And after a few minutes, they disappear off into the night. I
Oh,
mean,
perhaps it's a good thing I didn't choose to sleep outside.
I mean, you can. Yeah, this is before you actually bed down for the night. You can choose to go out and fight them if you want. But if you don't, they
We're
eventually
safe
just
inside, are
disappear.
we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem to realize that, and really the only reason they attacked last time is because one of you was outside.
Nothing to do with the liar.
Mm-hmm.
So before we go to bed, I would like to talk to the party for a second.
Sure.
Noro, do you remember when we left Dralimar?
We left like fast. That's all I remember.
And the circumstances that we met.
Oh. Oh, yes.
There may still be people who remember chasing Noro and I.
Oh, that's right. How do we want to?
It's a large city, we probably won't be noticed. But there is the chance.
I think I would give it away.
It's a dangerous city. We should be careful while we were there. Lunalia, no offense. We may want Louis or I to talk to most of the people.
I don't have a problem with that. I did get something to help. And she'll put this stupid hat on her head. She will think of the innkeeper's wife in Phandalin. I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
Trilana.
How does this look?
Like we're kidnapping the innkeeper's wife.
That will help with your looks, but not with your tongue.
What's the matter with my tongue?
You're very brash to Phandalin people. It doesn't come off as dangerous as Dralimar. The people that we'll be visiting and the places that we're going to sell the dragon parts will not fall for any type of deception, most likely.
Well, that's good. I am a terrible liar. I don't like to lie. Putting this disguise on is bad enough. In fact, I might just revert to my hood if I think it's not going to be too bad.
I'll be able to get us around, but, my past, I had to steal for a lot of what I had to eat.
That's fine.
So I hope that this doesn't bring any memories of me upon people. I was rather unknown.
Ooh.
But a group that has killed a party with a Kenku in it may be a little more obvious.
Yeah.
I will let you and Louis do most of the talking.
How common is it for a Goliath to be present in Dralimar?
Not unheard of, but not common. I would say I think we'd established that Noro had been in town had been in the city for a handful of days, before the adventure started.
Right. Yes, and I'm just thinking.
And I think in that time he had maybe seen a couple others, maybe one working the docks. one working the docks, maybe fresh off one of the ships, dressed very much like a sailor or an adventurer, and not from around here, looking somewhat foreign. And then, you might have seen another in a seedier part of town, standing outside a very nondescript, unmarked door in a back alley, as like a bouncer. Or somebody's thug.
So, like, for a party who kills a dragon, how fast would word spread, or would it?
Well, no one's just do it.
Like the people in Phandalin know that you killed a dragon, but Dralimar is 5 days travel away, and is a large city with 10,000, 15,000 people.
But the reward came from Dralimar, though, right?
Yeah, that's
Correct. Right. So, like, the reward comes from Dralimar, and word would eventually get back to officials in the city. But they may or may not know who did it. Just that it's been done, and the reward was dispensed by the town master.
Okay.
Yeah, like, you guys aren't going to be known showing up in Dralimar.
Okay.
Nobody's going to know who
that's
you
what I
are.
was hoping not.
Yeah. If anybody's going to be recognized, it's going to be Scribble and Noro by people who they had some dealings with last time they were in town. But it's also been some months now, right? Like, we started in the spring, and now it's midsummer. It's been a while since Scribble's been back to his old haunts, and Noro was only in town for a handful of days, and there's probably been other Goliaths come through since then, or others who maybe even live in the city, one or two here or there. So
Well, I still have scars from that firebomb,
firebomb.
that glass cannon that we killed. Who threw that bomb and knocked everybody down, and
Albrecht.
that's it, Albrecht.
Oh yeah, but that was in
Alright.
Phandalin, not in.
I'm just thinking I carry the scars. I look a little different than the time I was back at Dralimar. A little bit more beat up, more
Yeah.
seasoned, I guess you could say. So I guess that would be enough of a. I don't know. I don't know that I would need a disguise, but I guess you could say Noro's gonna when he does get there, we'll go with the cloak. Well, I guess we'll see what happens on the way there. We'll get to the specifics then.
I would have a word with Noro the first night out, and say maybe in the evenings we could practice some meditation techniques, some mindful techniques while we travel.
Oh, it worked last time. Let's keep doing it.
Okay, so the first night, this is, I guess, after the dogs have left, if we look out and see that it's safe. We'll go out and we'll sit down just a short ways from the cabin. And she'll have you sit down cross-legged in front of her. She'll sit same facing you. Now just clear your mind of any thoughts. Just take some deep breaths in, deep breaths out. And then she's going to smack him as hard as she can up the side of the head.
I wish to rage.
Nope. Just deep breaths. It's only pain. You are in control of it. Deep breaths.
Nice, he's confused, but he's doing it.
And once she senses that he's calmed down, she's going to smack him again.
I don't know that I like this game.
Well, you can make it stop.
She'll go on like this a few times. Smacking you. Talking you down from it.
How
You're in
does Nora
You're in
react?
control of your rage.
Noro just knowing Lenalia as much as he does at this point is just he's kind of like, all right, this is the first night.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's just gonna, I guess, roll with it because he trusts you a lot right now. So he's dealing with it, but not without like grunting and huffing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, she doesn't have a high strength. She can't hit you that hard, but she is really winding into it.
Gotcha.
So after maybe 4 or 5 of these, she'll stop and ask you to open your eyes. Now, do you feel like that instant of rage? It's a part of you. You can control it. It doesn't control you. Do you feel like this technique is helping?
Norrell's like, it's gonna take some time.
She'll roll an insight. Does she think that this is working at all?
He's gonna say no. He's gonna say no, and then he's gonna say something to you. Okay, because he hasn't told anybody this, so now he's gonna share with you.
Now it's my turn to see if you keep calm. Giant Goliath hand to the side of your head.
Close your eyes. No, no. I'm just gonna explain to her a little bit of like a piece of Norrell's background of like that I have been exiled, and which is like the worst thing that can happen for a Goliath. And so that, but it was for like nothing major, but it was enough that went on that pushed him out, and so this is the main reason why. But the factor of smell, and lavender is one of those, is what helps soothe it. So, but I have learned from Lunalia about trying to control. And I guess you could say Nora's very appreciative, and he's trying to explain it the best way he can.
Mm-hmm.
To just kind of let her know, like, I don't think we need to do all that, but it's...
I have many more techniques we can try.
like,
we can try something else tomorrow.
Yes, please. And he's kind of like rubbing his face or wherever you were smacking.
Yeah, she's smacking you in the side of the head.
I like this plan.
I think you need to hit him harder. I don't think you're hitting him hard enough.
I should get Rogar to help.
No, she's just using bare hands, so it's whatever
Exactly.
her strength.
What happened? I don't know. I hit him and his head fell off.
I mean, she needs to borrow Louis' gloves.
Louis doesn't have those gloves anymore.
Oh, that's
No,
right.
Noro does.
I have him on now. So,
We'll try something else tomorrow.
fair. But thanks for making the time.
Of course. Yeah, so we'll just turn in, and she'll make this a nightly routine. She's got some other ideas.
Ideas. He's scared.
A nightly slapping routine.
All right. The first night comes to a close without incident. Just the late evening Fey dog sighting. The second day's travel. Again, because we're traveling overland on well-traveled roads. There really isn't much of a reason for survival checks at this point. As you reach the Western Way and you cross the old stone bridge over the Edelweiss River, heading north, the guard post at the bridge is no longer there. And as you head north, you begin to close in on the site of the guards' camp, where the Dralian guard was camped out at, and you see off in the distance the camp is still there, but they seem to be packing up. There are a few guardsmen coming in across the plains, and towards the evening you can see that a large amount of the camp's been packed up, but there are still tents up. It looks like they're perhaps spending one more night here before they head out. Do you want to approach their camp, or do you want to just camp off the side of the road here? What do you want to do?
Well, before we set up camp, as we made the turn to cross the river, can we see the Tower of Storms off the coast?
No, it's a good 10, about 15 miles away.
I mean, I can see skyscrapers 15 miles away, so I'm just curious how tall the tower is.
Not very. 100 feet, 150 feet. Like a lighthouse.
Okay. Are we stopping at their camp?
Yeah, basically looking to see if you have any reason to interact with the guardsmen or the knight who led them. If you were looking to avoid them.
They didn't exactly care too much for us being there last time. I'd say we camp outside, like not with them.
Yeah, I don't think we need to approach them.
All right, so you proceed to set up camp shy of where they are. Maybe a mile or so back on the road, and off the beaten path a little ways. Here, the landscape is rolling coastal plains of tall grasses, blowing in a strong breeze. Clouds spot the sky. A brilliant sunset casts oranges and purples across the landscape as night falls. The sparse tufts of brush and trees bent by the wind rustle in the breeze. Otherwise, it's relatively quiet. Occasionally you hear the sound of gulls along the shore a distance away. And as you settle down for a night in Chez Louis again, things move in the darkness. Growls can be heard. You hear the sound of several sets of canine feet padding and pacing around the outside of the cabin. And eventually they disappear off into the tall brush if nobody comes out.
Can we see how close they get to the cabin?
They get within 15 or 20 feet of the cabin.
Okay.
And can we see how many there are?
Yes.
27.
Give me a second here. There are 4 of them. As a reminder, they're massive dogs. They're medium creatures. They're large creatures. They stand 4 to 5 feet tall at the shoulder. Dark fur. It's non-reflective. It doesn't glisten in moon or starlight at all. They're almost a black smudge on the landscape. Their eyes glow like red embers, and they have strangely humanoid-looking faces, with short, pointed ears that curve up and away from the rest of their head.
Sorry, you said there was 5?
4.
Do you guys think it was one of those that killed Roger?
Maybe. Didn't one of the guards say it was a panther or something, though?
Who was Roger again?
The dude that
Hey.
Lunalia slit the throat of in the tent?
Oh, yes.
Patrick's sidekick.
You're probably right. They would notice one of those going into his tent, I believe.
Especially if they roam in packs.
I don't think they know what they saw.
Well, if there's no other conversation the party wishes to have, we can skip on to the third day.
No, we can't because she's got some meditation to do with Noro.
Do we have to RP it?
Well, it's funny if we do.
Do we want to do anything about these wolves that seem to follow us?
Well, they don't seem to come in the day.
Do you think they follow us, or do you think they find us each night?
That is a good question. Are we leaving very noticeable trails? We
Yeah,
must.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean you're traveling on a well-traveled main road, so you are not doing anything to hide your trail. You're traveling in the open, visible to anybody, any passerby or anybody who's watching, even from a distance. Really masked only by your footprints, masked by the travel of many others on this road, right? So,
And we've seen these things before. We're pretty sure that it's the Fey dragon that sent them.
yes, they are evil aligned fey creatures, and I'm pretty sure Lunalia's made a I don't remember if it was a nature or arcana check, but she knows what they are. They are
So yeah,
wicked hunters and fundamentally obedient creatures. So they're following. They are working for someone, and they are following you.
should we kill them? Are they intelligent?
no, I didn't ask them. I don't remember. We fought them before. I don't remember how difficult they were, though.
I'm pretty sure you nuked the crap out of them.
Yeah.
I stick my head out of the cabin. Hello, do you speak common?
Do you do this while
Yeah.
while they're pacing around the cabin?
Yes, yeah.
One of them snarls and rears its head back, its long muscular neck flexing upwards. And I need you to, as it bays loudly, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Great.
14 is enough. Bluey, it's mournful howl digs deep into your soul, and you feel cold grip your heart. You feel terror for just a second, but you fight it back. There's something unsettling about these creatures, but you're able to fight it down, and you are immune to its baleful baying for 24 hours.
Nice.
Actually, I need everybody to make that roll.
Shit.
Yeah, sorry, it's anyone who can hear it within 300 feet.
Wisdom saving throw?
Yeah. And as one does, they all join in.
Why do I not have a roll thing for any of my stuff?
Reasons?
It's over on your left.
Yeah, I know, but normally when I hover over it, it gives me the option to roll.
So spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it.
Oh, okay. So it's just Louis, because you stuck your head out.
Cool.
The rest of you hear it, and it's unsettling, but you do not have to save against it. Yeah, it specifically says it bays magically, so yeah, it's a magical effect.
My D&D Beyond is not linked to my Roll20, that's why.
Hmm.
So I don't know where to do it.
Do you have Roll20 running in the same browser?
Yes.
That's weird.
But I'll close it and try.
Is your Beyond 20 add-in installed and visible?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Rogar's just going to knock an arrow and take a pot shot at the one that first started making noise.
Yeah, go ahead and make any attack roll. It's only fair. It took an action. You go ahead and take an action. Yeah, an 18 hits.
It's not linking up.
I can't fix that.
I did see it in D&D Beyond, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to take a look at it afterwards. Yeah, but I mean, it'll still roll, and you can tell us what the roll was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good enough. Rogar, your 18 hits. The arrow strikes just between its neck and shoulder. Glances off, and you hear it. It cuts its baleful baying short as it yips once as the arrow strikes, and it snarls and takes a few quick steps out of sight around the other side of the building. These creatures continue to circle the building for a while, but if you don't do anything else, they eventually disappear off into the night.
Nope. I've got 10 more arrows. I'm not doing any more.
Okay. Anything else this evening, or do you sleep and travel again?
Taking Noro for meditation.
Outside or inside?
She'll wait an hour after the animals have gone.
Okay.
And then we'll go have a quick look outside, make sure the coast is clear.
Make a perception check. Oh, and tell us what you get. Sorry.
It's 15.
15? I wonder if I can, is there a way I can see that? Yeah, I
If
can.
you've got a character sheet open, you can see the roll log.
Yeah, I do. Let's see if I can I pin it? Let me just gonna open, I am just gonna open, oh, let's see. Do I have, let's just open Paramon's character sheet. No, weird. My characters aren't in the, so I don't have access to the, well then. Well, can I do it from the encounter builder?
I mean, I can just tell you what I get.
Yeah, I can open one of your character sheets. Let's bring up a new window here and get that going. Yeah, it's strange. I don't have access to it from like the monster pages or anything. I suppose I have to be running an active encounter to see it. There it is. Yeah, I'll just I've got Louis' character sheet open. I'll just sit on that and stare at it. Got it. Okay.
So what do I see?
The coast is clear. Off in the distance, there is a patrol of 2 guardsmen headed away from you on the road. Otherwise, it's clear. And the night is dark. The stars are twinkling.
Yeah, so she'll take Nora outside again, 20 yards from the cabin. And we'll sit down, cross-legged, facing each other again, just like before. This time, you'll need to keep your eyes open. I promise I won't hit you. And she'll pull a candle out of her bag. And with a quick snap, she'll ignite it. And she'll hold it between the 2 of them.
She's gonna burn you.
No. This technique I learned from an old druid in my mother's circle. Basically, it teaches that holding your eye still in the flame will create stillness of mind. And so we're just going to sit and we're going to stare at the flame. And we're going to feed anything negative into the fire until we're just empty. And it's supposed to help bring clarity, help you relax.
We'll try this. Nora's just happy he's not getting hit, so he's very attentive. And gives it a go.
So after a few minutes, you might notice that your tears start to flow. It's just from holding your eyes still.
Yes.
And so yeah, after about half an hour, we'll stop. You should go and rinse your face, rinse your eyes with some cold water. Does it help you at all to be calm, to focus on the emptiness inside, to just be? Was it better than the first night?
A lot better.
Is it only because I wasn't hitting you?
Yes.
Okay, well, I have some other techniques we can try. But that's for another night.
Thank you.
She'll put out her candle and put it away.
The second night passes. Morning comes. A dew blankets the tall grasses outside of the cabin as it fades away, and the party sets forth. Passing the guards' camp, you can see they are just finishing packing up the remainder of their tents and supplies onto wagons. Unless you interact with them. They really pay you no heed. You can see there are quite a few of them gathered together, more than you'd seen before.
And I don't think there's any reason to talk to him.
Well, the party finds themselves at the end of the last day of travel. I don't know why I put this at 5 days. It really is just a hair over 3 days of travel between Dralimar and Phandalin at 24 or 25 miles a day. You push on late into the evening with really nothing else to do but travel this day. And you find yourselves closing in on the city as the sun sets and light fades. A glow on the horizon, and as you approach closer, you see a city wall towering high over a huddle of buildings. Behind it, a good distance back, you see buildings rise on terraces on a hillside, and behind it, even further still, a massive tower of rock upon which sits a castle. Not large, but regal looking, with blue pointed spires and walls of white stone. Across a long courtyard from it stands a temple, a strange, strangely architected temple of angles and shapes that really looks like nothing else you've ever seen, rises skyward. The last rays of the setting sun lighting a massive stained glass window on its eastern-facing side, the light shining through the building. And I will put up a picture of Dralimar. This is an old picture I scrounged up off the internet. This would be a view from the ocean side of the city. And I'll move you guys to the actual map that I drew. It's a little rough. I threw it together today. It's very, very sketchy. And I just did some watercolor. I left a lot of it blank, possibly to color in, but I didn't want to throw too much color on it. And there you go. There is the city of Dralimar. A massive wall surrounds it. Buildings huddled along its southern edge. A huge gate beyond a bridge towers over you.
And it's late in the night, or late in the day, right?
It's late evening, yeah. The sun's set, and really all that's left beyond starlight and you know the fading light on the western horizon is just you know, lantern and torchlight from the various buildings in the spill, which is a small town that's built up outside the southern gate.
Are there guards by the gate?
It's still some distance away. Between you and the gate is a large towered bridge that spans the south fork of the River Dral.
Okay.
But yes, there are several guards stationed around the southern gate.
Well, do we want to find a place to stay for the night, or... I've never been here, so I don't really know where to go.
So, are there multiple inns, Poker, or multiple places to stay?
There are, yeah. It's quite a large city. So Scribble, who's from here, could I don't know if you want me to just narrate Scribble giving everybody a little virtual tour, or just talking about the city, as he knows it. The Spill is a large town that's sort of built up outside of the gates. It's an overflow of the populace of the city, running out of room within the city's walls and actually starting to build up outside it. What originally started as a few barns and homes has now grown into quite a large town. There is an inn there. I will have to dredge up the name of the inn. I need just a minute to do that. It's actually the inn where you and Deebs and Noro started this whole adventure. Let me just see if I can find it.
Mechanical keyboard at its best.
Yeah, you know what? I'm fairly certain it was the Silver Dragon Inn, but I'm not entirely sure.
Kind of sounds familiar.
Yeah. I think I used the one straight out of the Phandalin book. Yeah, you know what? It's not. Let's call it the Silver Dragon. I actually had this in my old notes, and I think when I migrated to the new website, I did not. I looked at it and went, nah, they'll never go back there ever again. And here we are.
Haha, you fool.
Yeah. So is that where the party's going to stay the night then, outside the city walls?
Most likely. I mean,
Well, so are there? Scribble
Are
would
there-
probably suggest like not where he would have usually stayed.
Yeah.
Or
Something a
around
little
that
more
area.
upscale.
Well, so like Scribble's, probably most visited haunts would be obviously, the Market District, and then he's all too familiar with Gloomlight Alley, which is sort of a shady part of town. It sits in a poorly lit side street below one of the terraces of Aspirant's Rise that doesn't get much sun. The wall to the east blocking off morning light, and the terraces to the west, the north and west, blocking off afternoon and evening light. It's basically shaded most of the time. It's a little bit darker part of town, and it's not as run down a part of town as like the South Bank slums. Or some of the shadier parts of the Spill outside of the walls, but it is it's kind of a well-known spot for brigands and criminals to hide out, and it a lot of the town's guard turn a blind eye to things that go on in Gloomlight Alley.
Okay.
Well, you find your way down a wide street. Here outside the city walls, the buildings are rustic. Some of them hastily built, more wood than stone. Newer construction, but not quality in a lot of cases. Certainly nicer than a shanty town, but not too much nicer. A very frontier town feel, which is contrasted by this massive, towering 70-foot wall behind it that surrounds the city beyond. As you walk down this street that really could be in a smaller town, out in the countryside, bright lights pour out of an open doorway a block down, as you hear the sound of a bard singing and a lute being strummed, the chatter of voices and the clink of glasses and mugs, as you find your way to the Silver Dragon. A stout bartender stands behind the bar. Smoke from pipe and leaf hangs heavy in the air. The crowd here is an odd mix of travelers, merchants, and a few seedier-looking individuals that you might not want to tangle with. There are a few empty seats and an empty table available as you make your way in for the evening. The bartender eyes you all and starts lining up mugs.
Rogar will head to the bar.
And sorry, we're still in the spill, or are we right in the city proper?
You're in the spill.
Before we crossed the bridge, Lunalia would have pulled her hood down and put the stupid hat on. And instead of looking like the innkeeper's wife, she's going to conjure an image of her mother as best she can remember, because that's at least a form she's more familiar with.
Mm-hmm. The rest of you would see her appearance change. I'm assuming the silly-looking hat disappears, first of all.
Yeah, you won't see the hat.
Clothing, everything stays the same. You just change your skin color effectively.
For the most part, yeah. The clothing is a little bit more drab brownish. The skin color will go from that light sort of aqua color with the ripples to like a light brown. Ears are essentially the same. They're just much more elven. They don't look like fins. And her hair is sort of thick, long, curly reddish hair.
Okay.
And she's got like bright yellow eyes.
And does that hat just disguise itself?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Rogar, as you approach the bar, the bartender, you see him lining up mugs. What are you having?
Whatever you'd recommend.
Ale. Ale's always good. We've got lots of it. You folk passing through, or are you headed into the city proper?
We are heading into the city proper. But we might need a place to stay for the night, if that is at all possible here.
He looks at the size of the group. Well, rooms we've got, but only 2. I hope that's enough.
I'm sure we might be able to find ways to accommodate.
Right, 2 gold then, for that, and that should cover the drink as well. What?
Alright.
Expensive? Welcome to Dralimar.
Oh, I was already just pulling out the 2 gold.
You leave the coin on the table. He fills the mugs a little less than full, a little less than you'd like, and pushes them to the far edge of the bar for you. You all get settled in at a table for your first night in the big city.
The city stinks.
And this is just the outskirts.
Yeah, I imagine that for Louis, this part of the city anyway is it's very rustic. It's very it's very towny.
How quaint.
Without the homely feel of a place like Phandalin. Phandalin's got that very small town. Everyone knows each other. Everybody cares about the town, and like it's a lot of good folk. They stick together because they're all they have. This is more just something that was slapped together on the side of a city, and there's no heart in it. It's just an overflow. It's just a new part of the city coming up. It's missing that heart, that charm that a place like Phandalin has. And there is a smell. Sweat and old ale and...
This is an adventure. All of these weird smells and poor people, and this ale tastes like peace. Very exciting.
You can have mine then, Louis.
Oh, no, thank you. I will not be drinking this whatsoever.
She'll just push hers in front of Scribble then.
Noro, there's perhaps more people in this establishment than you've seen in a while. I'm not sure if that makes you uncomfortable. The good news is they're all smaller than you. Oh, welcome back.
Hummer was AFK, just so you know.
Yeah, I just saw that. I imagine this is probably as many people as Rogar's seen in one place since his time back at Scales Reach. Perhaps when there was a large gathering, or travelers would pass through, or whatnot. And this is just the start of it. Like you all get the sense that you're on the edge of a much bigger, much denser population. Throughout what's left of the evening, there's the occasional argument. Fists are thrown at one point, and the fight moves outside, and you can hear two drunkards taking swings at each other. The sound of a body hitting the dirt. A cheer from a few around, and footsteps as people disperse. Eventually, the bard sitting in the corner finishes for the night, takes his hat with a few coin in it, and leaves. And it gets a little quieter in this place. Just looking at passive perceptions. Don't think... Sorry, give me just a second here. There we go. Looking at passive perceptions, I don't think Lunalia's would count, given that it basically be the equivalent of disadvantage because she's very out of her element here.
She is very overwhelmed. She doesn't like it here at all.
Yeah, and yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with Scribble. He's got a passive of 17, and this is definitely not out of the ordinary for him. There's someone watching your table, Scribble, from across the bar, or from across the room. You wouldn't have really picked him out of a crowd if you didn't catch him looking your direction. Mid-40s, gaunt, a few too many days of unshaven shadow across his face, scar above his left eye. Stringy hair, clothing that hasn't seen hasn't seen a wash in a few too many weeks. And the butt of a dagger protrudes from beneath his vest at his belt. Very, very much your typical street thug. But maybe he works for someone. He watches the table for a while, all of you. Then he gets up and quietly leaves, but not through the front door. Out a side hall and perhaps out the back.
So I'll just mention the table. So the gentleman over there is watching us. Did anyone else happen to notice that?
No, Lunali would not have noticed until you pointed him out.
Noro's looking, but I'm assuming he's gone by now.
You maybe catch a glimpse of him as he exits, if Scribble mentions it early enough.
Would I have been able to tell, like, maybe his intentions on what he was looking at, or it was just he was watching us?
Just watching you. He didn't seem to pay any... His eyes went between his mug and your table, and that's it. He didn't seem to be paying anyone else any attention. He wasn't scanning the room or anything. By the time you noticed him, the only attention that he paid to anyone other than his drink was your table.
So be on alert for that gentleman.
It's hard to be on alert. There's so many things and noises.
Sorry, you said we were the only people that it looked like he was keeping an eye on?
Yeah.
Well, I got us some rooms.
Scribble, you owe anybody money?
Probably.
All right.
I used to not have any money and still needed to eat. I probably owe a lot of people money here.
Didn't you bump into him as he was running away from a theft? Like, isn't that how your paths crossed?
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, what else do I not know? Never bothered to ask. So, but at the same time, I'm also thinking of Noro is thinking of the notoriety we might now have.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was kind of getting at with the talk earlier, that like Scribble's, probably got a lot of people who may be looking out for him, or like who would know of him.
What part of the city, Monsieur Oiseau, what part of the city are you from?
I probably would have spent a lot of time in the market district and like poked the Gloomlight Alley.
Mm-hmm.
Scribble's like a street urchin.
But you will know the market and say the docks.
I know how to get around the city, yes.
Yeah, you know your way around the city. I'd say that, if there was any part of the city that Scribble's not very familiar with, it would be Castle Rock. Like you tell me, but I don't know how often he would have, had reason to try and make his way up to the cathedral or the Minted Terrace, which is where the rich folk live.
No, Scribble would be, somewhat like Aladdin, not stealing for like wealth, but to survive.
Just to get by, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the entire southern half of the town, basically from Gloomlight Alley south, would have he would have been relatively familiar with it. Like he would have made his way over to the docks from time to time, perhaps to go nab a few things, when nobody was looking, out of a crate here and there, coming off a ship.
Well, Noro has this idea of what if we, since it's been a while and much has changed, what if we portray ourselves as like we all work for Scribble, and Scribble's like this wealthy merchant, just to kind of add a layer of deception, I guess, just in case he's not what everybody else that knows him here may think he is. I don't know.
I'm a terrible liar, Noro. I don't really want to have to lie. I'm just gonna not say much.
I believe if you want to do something like that, then Louis would be more of the merchant.
Good point.
We could be his guards.
Just because I'm just saying they already saw us, right? Which
There's other Kenku in the city, right?
Oh yeah.
more than Goliath, but that's what I was trying to think. Also for Noro to hide better, I guess, is to be seen as a.
You know what I say is we embrace this notoriety. What was they come and they kill us all because you stole some bread a while ago? It's fine. There is nothing that we cannot deal with here.
It's true.
Did you piss off very powerful people or just some random merchants?
Knowing Scribble.
You never know who knows who here.
Well, and speaking of powerful people, you do know a couple people here now, right? Silas and Hammond Sam.
I mean no offense by this scribble, by any means. But I know how some people, humans, some elves, half-elves, view the lesser races. They think everybody looks the same. I think if there's other Kenku in town, Scribble would just be one of them, wouldn't he?
That I would imagine that Scribble has identifying marks, but
Doesn't he have a scar on his face?
yeah, you blend in as a Kenku, but there's still, if someone's looking hard enough.
Yeah.
What exactly did you do that you're worried about?
I survived.
Are we sure this is the right place to be talking about what all he's done to survive?
I don't think that's anything he'd get in trouble for. He didn't do anything other than just steal food. Surely there's got to be bigger criminals out there that the town guard would be worried about, right?
Well, he did more than steal. He stole for food.
Yeah, so I stole things, to sell things, or maybe stole things for someone to get money.
Right, but you weren't, trafficking children or selling drugs or black market animals.
Noro's looking at him like, have you?
No, I've done none of those things.
think we're gonna be okay.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, so Scribble's just going to keep an eye out for that guy and just on high alert, basically, for the entire time that we're here.
Got it. Well, the evening comes to a close and you find your way to the pair of rooms, both of which are very sparsely decorated. Really not much more than a small table and a chair, a bed that is, perhaps a size too small for any one of you, but it's still better than, like you've got pack rolls, and it's not a big deal to sleep on the floor, at least, here in a secure room with a door that you can lock or bar. It's certainly better than camping, but perhaps not worth the coin that you paid. And you settle in for the night. How are you guys splitting rooms, and are you taking any watches? Is there anything you're doing specifically? Anybody going out for a walk? Anything
I was
fun?
gonna ask, do the doors open into the rooms or into the hall?
The doors open into the rooms.
Okay.
Well, it makes sense to split the two big ones up.
And the two small ones?
I guess.
Or the two small ones with. So I'll go with Noro and maybe Louis with us, and then you two.
Yeah, that'll work. I won't be sleeping anyway. So Rogar, feel free to take the bed. She's going to just set up her roll and sort of, lean against the door. She's not going to be able to sleep for a while anyway. It's too loud.
Yeah, even late into the night, the sounds in this place are just an assault on your ears. People in alleyways throwing up, somebody yelling in the distance, the screech of a cat a half block down, just the sounds of the outskirts of a city at night, drunken ramblings and shouts and yells, and at one point late into the night, what you think sounds like a fight in the distance that's over relatively quickly. You think you hear a sword drawn, and then it quiets down after a while. Eventually you find sleep. Anybody else? Anything?
She'll trance late at night.
Anything from anybody else this night, or are you just going to rest and start fresh in the morning?
Rogar will probably have a rough time going to sleep. Mainly because he's not used to the hustle and bustle, I guess, of a city.
Noro's gonna take advantage of being in an inn and sleep like a baby.
All right.
Yeah, Scribble's gonna feel comfortable and sleep.
Yeah, I imagine out of everyone, Scribble's probably the most comforted by the surroundings here. At least it may not be the safest, but you know it well.
Louis is pretty used to cities as well, so he's used to lots of ambient sound. He's a heavy sleeper.
Yeah, I think it's it's maybe not it's definitely not the part of the city that Louis is comfortable with, but but the city as a whole is no big deal to him. Well, you settle in for the night, and it's uneventful. You wake in the morning, and there is no breakfast available downstairs. In fact, there doesn't seem to be anyone at all as you come down from your rooms in the morning. You enter the main part of the tavern floor of the inn. And it's a little too quiet. Sounds out on the street, yes, but not a person in here. And right about the time you're all beginning to think this is quite strange, you notice there is one figure sitting at a table in the far corner. A hood is drawn up over his head. Darkness obscures his face. Beyond the hood and the cloak, a dark slate gray. You can see what looks like simple traveler's clothes, but there is a ornate handle of a longsword that protrudes from beneath the cloak. And as he raises his head, you catch just his nose and chin. We should talk. Come and have a seat. And I think if it's okay with you guys, we'll take a quick break there.
Okay.
Be back in 5 minutes. Just put the stream on break, so feel free to...